Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm your host, Adam Riancho. It's Sunday, July 5th, 10:20 p.m., and it's time to draft some best ball teams. We're going to be trying to fill a pit bull first. I have two pit bulls left. I will be doing one of them tonight, and then we'll let you guys decide on draft number 2. Let's go. All right, I did not have a bull packed. I apologize. I got home. I'm late to the party. Figured better just get it going before I figure that out. We'll pack a bull, you know it. Let's bring in the chat real quick. We got Sladen in here. Aloha. Aloha, motherfucker. Disbanded. Welcome in, Mr. Brotherhood. Smoke some. I will. I promise you I will. And then Young Moolah in the house. What's up, GAB for life? Hope you're doing well. Excited for the upcoming week. But all right, we're entering in the pit bull. No countdown. Let's see if we can get it to fill. If you have one left, if you have a bullet in the chamber, be my guest. I think I'm zoomed in a little bit more than I would like. But 5 spots remaining. If you are capable of claiming a pit bull, go for it. Be my guest. But in the meantime, let me get this bowl packed, and if anyone has any questions, any topic du jour, top of mind, go for it, let her rip. But in case you caught it earlier, I was live with Huhames around 4 p.m. about 6 hours ago. Huhames went fucking long today. Good for him. But we drafted in the pit bull, and there was only one pick I kind of wish I made that we didn't take Bo Nix in the 9th round. Kind of regret not taking Bo Nix. Not gonna lie. That's why Bo Nix is on the thumbnail. He's on my mind. We had a really good receiver room. Our quarterback room might be too mid to get it done. We have Mahomes, who should deliver, but then the drop off to Cam Ward, and then the random backup Michael Penix, stacked with Bijan. The team could have been a little bit better at quarterback, but it was pretty lit all around. The tight end position was excellent. Receiver was fucking loaded. We actually stopped at 6, and I honestly think we got away with it. But running back, we got indulgent with 6 just because that was the best value, and 3 quarterbacks. One of them could have been Bo Nix, though. Would have been a different team. Who knows if I would have liked it in totality, but that was the only criticism I had. Maybe instead of Rashad White, we should have taken Bo Nix. But Young Moolah's ripping the gummies right now. Good for you. There's my grinder. There's the weed. I was like, where the fuck is it? It's usually always on the table, always on the desk. It was on the coffee table. It was on the coffee table. But Sladen, what we drafted, we're in the pit bull. We are in the pit bull. Thank you, Young Moolah, for clarifying. There are currently 3 spots remaining in this pit bull. The contest is at 96% full, so I could easily see somebody wants to hop in that's watching right now, just not available to, but we'll wait. We got time. We'll let it rip. And yeah, 3 more spots. It has been filling kind of quickly today. I believe just a few hours ago we were at 94%. So that's quite a few entries real quick. I would assume the pit bull is not open longer than Wednesday. It might be filled tomorrow, actually, depending on how many people rip some slows. But yeah, still 3 spots. We'll take a rip, though, and we'll see. Disbanded. You want me to give you my address live here on YouTube? I'm not doing that shit. What? What kind of a request is this? God damn it, we get pick 4. Fuck. All right. We're going to get a little different here at pick 4. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm going to need an Addy for you here in about 2 months from now. I mean, other than Adderall, Addy can only mean address. So that's what I'm thinking. You want me to want me to pop some Adderall? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just maybe I don't understand what you're saying at all. Maybe I'm on a completely different page. But all right, we got Chewy in here. Yo, I think Chewy's watching. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but shout out the 101. We got Young Moolah at the 102. Amos Ramus is in the house at pick 3. Hooter at pick 4. A Who Hames impersonator. And then we got Wes 91. I think we've drafted with Wes before. Not sure. Kiss My Third Leg. Very appropriate at pick 7. And then Tricky 8181. Sladen pulling the 109. Whole day he's been up at the 109. So he has plenty of experience. And then we got some more members. We got Montano Maida in at pick 10. And then Hulk Smash Potatoes, not sure if he's a member, but I believe he's watching in at pick 12. And then Jay Dassey, not sure about him, at pick 11, or whoever that is, gender neutral. But you're going to send me some flour. If you want to contact me, Disbanded, shoot me an email. Damn it. We almost got Bijan at pick 4. God fucking damn it. I'm not taking Puka. I'm telling you right now, I'm not taking Puka. I'm going to pull up Genty. I don't really give a shit. I'm going to pull up Genty. I'm not drafting a wide receiver at pick 4. Structurally, I don't want to deal with that bullshit. We're not going to get one I like at pick 21. If we do, I'll just take him and we operate with double RB. Who cares? But I know for a fact I'm just going to get a running back I feel pretty good about finishing top 5. I'll go Ashton Genty. I'm believing in Clint Kubiak's system. When you look at Genty's game luck, there were multiple games last year where he dropped like 30 points. He did hit the ceiling. But, yeah, Jesus, BMZ, Chewy, BMZ. Yes, sir. Salute to you. And, yeah, if you want to send me an email, niceandblunt@gmail.com. Maybe we can make something happen. But should I be accepting offers for marijuana on the internet? Probably not. Probably not. There may be a hurdle you need to clear to actually send me something. I'm not going to lie. There is a trust level that will need to be cleared, a certain threshold. But cool. Cool. Looking forward to your email, Disbanded. But okay, we go Genty at pick 4. I haven't gotten weird at pick 5 since we were drafting with the Fantasy Football Roundup. Ryan, our boy, we took Hampton at pick 5. I think that was the last time I got really, really different. I'm willing to take CMC at pick 4, but I think I took him recently in a draft with Hartman that he was streaming the other day. So shouldn't have said it like, look, it's in the back of the mind, you know, how much can I really trust someone just from the chat? But we'll see. We'll see. I'm willing to trust you, Disbanded. I'm willing to gamble a little bit. All right, but as expected, the run on running back ensues, and we hit pick 19. I believe they're all off the board. So I have no regrets. Legitimately, no regrets at all. Puka wasn't quite hitting as the wide receiver 2 until Devontae Adams got hurt. It's not that he's a bad pick. I just really don't want to start wide receiver. Now, will I start Genty Bowers is the question. That is the question. Do I take Bowers here and just be hyper committed? My ranks say yes, but I'm actually going to stick with ADP. I'm going to go Drake London and lock up an extremely secure target share. I think double committing to Vegas is a little bit scary. I believe that one of them can absolutely hit at a higher price tag. Today we bet on Genty just absolutely crushing, absolutely dominating. Will Bowers hit in the same corresponding week consistently? I mean, I think to advance, it's not that big of a problem, but are you telling me in the fantasy playoffs, I need the Vegas stack. The double, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Their playoff schedule's pretty good though. Perhaps I should have just stuck to my rankings there and gone Brock Bowers. But the the plan from the beginning was kind of just to go running back, wide receiver, stay balanced, and just basically I don't like pick four. The value proposition of pick four and how you're stuck with building out your roster. So basically I just opted for a pick nine here. Basically I just said I'd rather be in slot 9 and get weird, get Genty at 9, pull up London, um, than get stuck with Puka London. Essentially, that's what I'm saying. And here we're going to be able to get a higher threshold of round 3 pick. Some names that just aren't available to you when you take Genty late. Hopefully are available for me here. Devontae Smith would be the most obvious ADP candidate. I'm not going to go Trey McBride. I'll just take Devontae. I'm not totally convinced that Devontae is worth a top 3 round pick. But ultimately, this is just what the market has decided. And it's a pretty safe bet. I'm not that worried about Mekhi Lemon. But from a value proposition standpoint, pulling someone up from the right side of the board here would be kind of stupid. Like, if you want Genty London, you can also just do that from pick 11. You can also just do that. So to take someone that corresponds with that from pick 11 kind of just negates the purpose. But turn my Savage up. Are you insinuating I should be trusting the double Raider? I'm a Charger fan. To give me just one Raider that I got to take above ADP, spend this high draft pick to invest in the Raiders is kind of gross. I know Young Moolah might feel differently. Young Moolah, shout out our friendly Raiders fan. I'm sure he didn't mind the Genty pull up, but I'm not the most excited to double commit to Las Vegas. I still have some reservations on Las Vegas. Their quarterback situation's a little concerning. The offensive line is still a little bit suspect, but the defense is going to be bad again. That's no question. I'm not expecting a terrible game script. So they're going to be trailing. They're going to need to throw it a lot. I see a lot of catches ensuing for Genty and probably Bowers as well. Maybe I should have gone double, but sure thing, Young Moolah. I'll take this bet. Sure. How much you want to put? Okay, I'll take those odds. I'll take those odds. Why is our defense going to be? Because it's just not the greatest defense. Just there's Max Crosby. There's maybe like some players that can get coached up, but like just in general, it's if someone's asking you which defense do you want on your fantasy Madden roster, I don't think anyone's shouting out the Raiders with enthusiasm. The Raiders defense is bad. Is this not oh wow, Scadaboo's still here? Hell yeah. Burden is top of ADP. I kind of have a rule that I'm kind of just Burden top ADP, but not when I can get Scadabo. I'm still taking Scadabo over Burden. Burden's fine, but I'd rather have Scadabo, especially when I took receiver in rounds 2 and 3. But yeah, I don't think I'm off base saying that the Raiders defense is bad, Young Moolah. No offense. It can definitely get better. I think the coaching last year was just abysmal, so it can only get better. That's, I think, the optimism where like the coaching was just so bad last year. For them to get Kubiak at all doesn't really matter who the defensive coordinator is. It's just going to be light years ahead of what Pete Carroll was putting out there. And, the ghost of Chip Kelly, whatever was going on in that brain last year. Calling plays that are not on the play sheet has to be like intentional tanking. Like how much is Tom Brady incentivizing Chip Kelly's contract to just mail it in and set up the number 1 pick? But Young Moolah on the clock goes Bijel Tootin at 47, goes Christian Watson, pick 50. Getting a little different, pulling him up from the other side of the board. Swift makes it back. That's who my ranks say. ADP says Adams. They're pretty identical, but I feel pretty good about the double anchor receiver. London and Devontae Smith. Let's just trust in Devontae. I could go double Devontae, but I'll go Swift today. Feel very confident in those three running backs. So Genty, Scatabo, and Swift. Perhaps a pairing that's not that common. We got Scatabo past ADP, Genty on the other side of the board, and then London, Devontae Smith. All right, so unique aspect of this team, pretty solid. I'm relatively happy with this build from pick 4. Usually you have pick 4, you're behind the 8 ball at running back. It is not that exciting, but Genty, Scatabo, Swift. Receiver obviously could be a little bit better, but London, Devontae holding it down. We're solid. But Young Moolah coming in with Raiders defense going to be good this year, probably just as good as the Chargers. They added a ton in free agency and draft on defense. Fair points. They did have a shit ton of money in free agency to spend. Those don't always translate to actual difference makers, though. As someone who has seen the Chargers win the offseason many, many times, I recall being very, very hyped up about a certain New England Patriots corner a few years ago, joining the team on a massive contract and him just shitting the bed. So I would like to be optimistic with you, Young Moolah. I would like to be optimistic, but I'll believe it when I see it. You do have Max Crosby there, always holding down the fort. He stayed, almost got traded. Not sure what the fuck that was about, but he's still in town. And then all of the upgrades. Some people were hyping the Raiders to the playoffs last year. Some people believed in them. So it's possible. Every now and then the Raiders do have like a resurgent season where they're actually very compelling. And it usually correlates with them getting a new coach that knows what he's fucking doing, not willing to play it safe, take some risks. A la the... I'm forgetting what his name is. Mike Del Rio. Mike Del Rio was the last effective coach, in my opinion. They did have that year where they made the playoffs recently, but to have a true excitement from week 1 all the way down to the wire, that was the year Derek Carr broke his back. But they were really impressive. All right, my rank says QJ. ADP says Burrow. I think I'm just going to take QJ. I'd rather have Quentin Johnston over Parker Washington. Sorry to Jiri, he can have more. But this also gives me the option if Jalen Hurts does get sniped, I can just take Justin Herbert. And I'm never going to be upset with that. I actually have Herbert ranked the highest among quarterbacks. I don't exactly put it that way all the time, but Herbert I actually prefer over Jalen Hurts. Completely honest with you. I trust him to stay healthier more, and he got the better offensive coordinator. Speaking of free agency this season, but Anthony Perez, USA. 4th of July weekend. Hope nobody blew off their fingers. I hope my warning to you was taken to heart. I did not want to see any member of the audience lose a finger over the weekend. So hopefully everyone stayed safe and sound. But USA. Pepper Tony, what's up? How we doing? Added some dogs. I'll be honest with you. I can't list off all of their additions off the top of my head. I legitimately didn't pay attention enough. But yeah, I'm just going to take Herbo. No issue with that. Higher buy-in. Don't want to fall behind at quarterback. We will take a Quentin Johnston, Justin Herbert team. Might not be getting the best price on QJ, but in my opinion, receiver is very flat in the 7th, 8th round. And ultimately, I'm just pairing up a 7th, 8th round stack on this side of the board, and then we're going to get a slightly unique combo because of that. I'm not totally convinced that taking Jordan Tyson or Alec Pierce ahead of QJ is correct. So set that up. I'm not I'm definitely not pissed to have another Herbert team. And I definitely don't have a ton of London in the first place. So I know for a fact I'm getting a little bit more unique with my shares of Justin Herbert by pairing him with London. I'm definitely underweight on London. Not that I don't like London, it's just not usually a pick I'm making. Um, Raiders traded 2 first rounders to get Max Crosby. I like their defense. Might have gotten the best corner in the entire draft. If Crosby stays, they'll be just fine. Pete Carroll had dementia. This I can agree with. Um, no spaghetti hands. The fuck is that? I don't even know what that is. But Christian Ramos is one of my few shares of Burden. At some point, you kind of just have to bite the bullet on Luther Burden. I'm still not convinced that he's worth a 4th round pick, but in general, he's just not really falling. And ultimately, he's one of the names that I think can actually pay off in the right weeks, where if you don't have him, you just don't win. So I've kind of just accepted my fate. The way I built out this team, though, even though Burden was at the top of ADP, I preferred Scatabo. I rank Scatabo over Burden. So that's one of the few players in round 4 where I will make an exception. But typically, I am also just kind of accepting. If I get past his ADP and he's the top of the leaderboard, I'm probably just going to take him while I can. Because otherwise, I definitely don't want to reach on him. That feels gross. But he's still probably doing okay. But okay, the spaghetti hands from the yeah, we don't want that. Went way over my head. I'm faded. I'm tired. Sometimes I just don't get all the references, but Addison falling about 5 picks. That's not terrible. I don't mind Addison at all. Sometimes Kyler also falls. So, yeah, I need some receiver depth. We will go Jordan Addison. No reason to take Mahomes there other than the bring back, but I already have Herbert, so I'd rather take Xavier Worthy for the bring back. I'd rather avoid it altogether, but we leave Mahomes on the table and take Addison. Some high spike week capability with Addison. I think for the format, Addison is perfect. I'm not trying to draft Addison in too many redraft formats. I think knowing when to start Addison is going to be frustrating this year. I'm not totally convinced that Kyler will have him delivering on all cylinders every single week. But Addison in best ball, he's a house call waiting to happen. Definitely a deep threat. And when I can remove the headache, it just automatically hits my lineup. When it works, I think he's an excellent pick. In the 90s, I'm all over it. I could go Purdy. I kind of want to take Bo Nix, but I don't have the stack set up, so kind of unnecessary. I probably don't get him, but I'm going to go Laporta here. I'm going to go with a very balanced offense. Starting lineup is what I'm going to prioritize with this pick. I could take the backup quarterback, but I don't want to reach. We're going to have Tua in our back pocket later. There's always some back stacks. And I've noticed some random falls on some of these pocket passers. Even Kyler, I've seen fall. So we'll see what Team 11 decides to do. They have Jefferson. So if I had to guess, Kyler comes off the board by pick 110. But if he passes, I don't see anyone else with an argument to stack. So it's definitely possible. I've seen it many times where Kyler makes it to 117. And if those teams were all willing to pass on Addison, that means they don't really favor the Vikings offense very much. They'd rather go Blake Corum, Kyle Monangai, Rico Dowdle, even Stafford above ADP over Addison. So I think it's all going to be decided by Team 11. If I had to guess, they're probably taking him. But he also has the Tyson with Shuck stack available. He also has Baker available. But wide receiver 1 is Jefferson. Goff goes off the board. He takes Aaron Jones. He's setting it up. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Okay, there's no way I get Kyler here. No fucking chance. If he passes, I'd be rather shocked. But who knows? Maybe he goes Baker. But I think by taking Aaron Jones, it's definitely setting it up. Goes, whoa. Really? That's shocking. That is a shocking pick. Jordan Love unstacked, I will say, feels gross. Jordan Love does not run anywhere near enough to hit your lineup unstacked and feel like that is the piece to win in the final in week 17. Against Houston, unstacked, I don't understand that pick at all. But if the ranks say that, go for it. But all right. We got Everinflux in here. What up, Blunt? What the fuck is Team 8 smoking? Now I'm curious what Team 11 is smoking. Yeah, rather curious, right? But for good measure, I might just get sniped on Kyler here. But Kenny Gainwell goes. Dobbs goes. Sweet. Kyler circles back. All is good in the world. Now, my ranks still have Rashad White. My ranks do say Rashad. I have seen Kyler circle back again. I don't know if I'm willing to push that, though. I don't really... He has too much rushing value, I think, for someone to take him unstacked is still a compelling argument. So maybe they would pass here in the teens, but I think at 123, I could easily see Christian Ramos say, fuck it, this is a really good price on Kyler. I'm just going to take him. But of an excellent price on Rashad White, I think a very valuable pick who has been moving up the board. Now he's going in the 100. So to get him at 118, not the most common thing anymore. In this contest, though, he's usually been going around this turn. So maybe not the supreme best value possible, but I think just straight up a pretty good value. But Austin, what's the next draft? Good to see you again. Just got on. Appreciate that, Burgess. It's worth putting up a poll. I'll make this pick and then we'll put a poll in. If I had to guess, y'all are going to vote for a Chihuahua. I think I'm going to go Baker here because I don't really understand the reason to let him fall, and just being strong at quarterback is never an issue. Chris Rodriguez a pretty good pick here, but like I'll just take Baker on stack. There's some good back stacks available. I'm not afraid. And I do have Laporta, so I feel pretty comfortable at tight end so far. Maybe I can get Gadsden on this team, but even if I'm stuck with Njoku or Kate Otten, I'm not going to be too upset. So 3 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, I think would be fine. But our running back room feels excellent so far. Genty, Scatterbo, and DeAndre Swift. And then receivers coming together. The anchor in London, Devontae Smith, an excellent number 2. QJ with the stack, and then Addison for the spike weeks. I'll have to address the position again pretty soon, but I'm hopeful I can get one of my favorite picks in the next round. And then I'm also inclined to believe this is an 8 receiver team. I think the math checks out. A 3-5-8-2 would fit the bill. I think that's what we're building today. But yo, what's up? Let's light one. You know what? A-Rod, let's do it. This is not a Mastiff. No, I do not have the budget for a Mastiff. Yeah, we're not doing either of those. A Superflex, we could do that. Mastiff, no. But let me start the poll and then I'll take a rip. How many likes are we at? Let me check. We got 33 people watching, 11 likes. We lock in draft number 2 at 22 likes. Half of the people watching who have yet to like can like this. Let's get up to 22, shall we? I think this team is a pretty good one so far. I think this team deserves a like. No complaints at all. We got an elite quarterback room as well. Feel excellent about that. But We got we could also do the golden. We can do super flex or the Chihuahua. There's going to be some random capitalization in here, and it's because I hit caps lock by accident, but all right, poll is dropping. We'll take a look at Team 5 as well. But yeah, like I was hoping, Jalen McMillan's still available. Love Jalen McMillan. I think he's absolutely worth more draft capital than he currently has. So one of my favorite stacks with Baker, we did get him. We can also get Ted Hurst later if we want. That's also pretty affordable, pretty easy to acquire. Our tight end situation is looking pretty sweet. We got Sam Laporta. It's time for a hit. If you would like to join me, smoke it if you got it. Appreciate you, Anthony. Appreciate that. But looks like we quickly shot up above 20 likes. Appreciate that. Coming in quick with the likes. But McMillan is live to be the wide receiver 1 by the end of the year. That is kind of a hot take. I would say it wouldn't shock me if he finishes the season as the number 2. I think it would be rather shocking, though, if he overtook Igbuka. Godwin, I can definitely see falling off, given his age, injury risk, just the overall preference for the team to start pivoting, lowering his role a little bit over the course of the weeks. He's also more of a short yardage guy. Since some of the better play callers have left Tampa, some people don't know how to use him properly. But all right, on the clock, quarterback is the value, but I'm not going to do that. We don't need a 4th. We could take Gadsden. I think I will. I think it makes the most sense. Done at quarterback, done at tight end. We got the Herbert double stack, Quentin Johnston and Oronde Gadsden. There's a world where Gadsden gets really neutered, really overtaken, just not as big of a focal point of the offense because he can't really block. He might lose a big snap share. However, there's also a scenario where he is the Mike McDaniel tight end you need to own, and that historically has been a very, very productive position. Last 2 seasons. With Darren Waller, there was a touchdown every single week, if not 2. When he was healthy, it was an auto start. It always paid off. And then 2 years ago, Jonnu Smith was a top 5 tight end on the year. So that is what keeps me coming back, but I can also envision the scenario where I am still paying too much on Gadsden here, and he's actually way, way closer in value to David Njoku. But I'll take him for the overall values. It was either tight end or quarterback there, and I definitely did not need a quarterback. So the team's coming together. I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, Tampa Bay is an interesting team. The Chargers also have an interesting target share. We'll see what happens. But Austin says, I got no more golden entries. Hopefully we do Superflex or the other one. At the moment, Superflex is dominating the poll. Superflex has 8 votes. Chihuahua has 2. The golden has none. So far, the golden is not on anyone's radar. And Superflex seems to be the likely candidate. So hopefully you get what you want. If anyone wants something else, you got to let your voice be known in the poll. But McMillan could be the 25-point week 16 dude. McMillan almost carried me to my first final 2 years ago, if not for a touchdown ripped out of his hands against the Cowboys. McMillan is used the way you want in best ball. A very prolific down the field threat, excellent chemistry, And Baker's the type of quarterback that wants to go for the end zone from like 30, 40 yards out. He's not as conservative. He's definitely looking for that deep shot touchdown. And like 30, 40 yards is kind of like the sweet spot. Like when I play Madden and I'm trying to score quickly, once I get within the 40-yard line, I'm taking shots to the end zone every fucking time. At least, you know, when it behooves me, as long as someone's open. But if Tank Bigsby's here, it's an auto click for me. He goes Algier. Let's go. We could go Trey Harris, but I have a shit ton of Trey Harris. I think I need running back a little bit more. I do not want TJ Hawkinson very much. It does stack with Kyler. I'll be tempted to grab him in the next round. Same with Trey Harris if he falls. But I think structurally, grabbing running back was pretty important there. We got another week 10 bye, but I think we'll be chilling. I think we'll be all right in terms of bye week distribution. In week 10, I have Genty and Scatabo, and Scatabo should be healthy at that point. No concern about week 10 after his bye week to be available. So, good to know, disbanded. Glad someone's going to do it, but Everflux Godwin could be bad, and I don't think Egbuka is that much better than him skill-wise. I would disagree. I think Egbuka is in a tier above. There's a reason why Egbuka was a first-round pick. McMillan was a third, so I'm willing to trust the scouting department. The Bucks, though, pretty much never miss when they draft receiver. Historically, their scouting department knows exactly what they're doing. Bringing in receiver year over year, all the new names always deliver. And Trey Harris does circle back. So does TJ Hawkinson. I probably need a receiver more. And it's a pretty obvious click. Whatever. I'll just commit even further. We have London, Devontae Smith, Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison, Jalen McMillan, and Trey Harris. If there's an injury to Ladd McConkey, we are living. But hopefully that doesn't happen because Herbert's true ceiling involves Ladd McConkey staying healthy. But we also have Gadsden stacked up, so that's also a component. We would be in even better shape. But then Laporta holding it down as tight end 1. This team is pretty solid. I like this team a lot. We have 3 clicks left. I'm feeling 1 more running back, 2 more receivers. I think that's the move. Tank Bigsby as your RB4, though, feels excellent. But Young Moolah saying, don't be surprised if Trey Tucker has a better season than QJ. Now, that's a stretch. That is not going to happen, Young Moolah. That is some Raiders bias, if I've ever heard it. But I do not like that call. I do not like that call at all. But going to hold off on my golden entry to see how late it stays open. I know. I feel the same way, Hulk Smash. I would like to save my mini golden for August if I can. I don't know if it's going to be open that late, but a single entry with 11,000 people. I said it the day it opened. I was like, I feel like this can hit 5, 6, maybe 7,000 really quickly. And then I'm not quite sure how quickly the rest of it's going to fill. So if I have the option, I'll be drafting every day. I'll keep it, in the back of my mind. Once it gets to 80+%, I'll be more interested. But I could definitely see it really trickle out towards the end and maybe be open for a considerable amount of time. So that is a strategy. There's also the strategy of some of the prices are just never going to be as cheap a month from now. And maybe more information doesn't totally help you from just being right on some of your early bets. But nothing inspiring at receiver very much other than the stack. So I will go Ted Hurst. We will double stack Baker Mayfield. Yo, this team feels pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Pick 4 often sucks. I often hate my team when I'm drafting from pick 4, pick 5. Even pick 3 sometimes. Not as much as from pick 3, but 4 and 5 are tricky. And just saying, fuck it, I don't give a fuck about the ADP at all. Pulling up Genty, this team feels way, way better than had we drafted Puka instead. So I'm here to tell you, trust your gut. If there's a player you don't mind pulling up at running back, you just believe this running back is going to pay off. I even think you can take him at pick 4. People say that pick 4 should be set in stone. You want your Puka shares, but honestly, I just want a good team. And pick 4 feels gross when you start off Puka Bowers. Even that doesn't feel like it's the best. So it is what it is. I like the team quite a lot, though. And I'm hopeful the running back I want is still there. Katron's my highest at running back in terms of my rankings. The ADP says Emmett Johnson, Jaden Blue. Damn, Jaden Blue's been rising already up to 198. Maybe I should just take Jaden Blue today. Maybe I should. It's not the most common pick in the pit bull. It's been open a little while. I got a shit ton of Katron. You know what? Yeah, I'll go Jaden Blue today. Fuck it. Javonte, kind of some injury-prone nature to him. I'm willing to mix it in. I definitely don't have a share of Jaden Blue in the pit bull. I'm pretty sure I already have a share of Katron Allen, if not multiple. I got a shit ton of Tank Bigsby, that's for sure. Yeah, let's mix it up. Let's add a running back I'm just not that invested in. Because honestly, I'm just trusting the top 3 that I have to crush. But ultimately, there's also the bring back. We got Scatabo, the Giants against the Cowboys, week 17. And Jaden Blue would probably be the highest upside swing if Javonte goes down. That's ultimately the bet. The contract they gave Javonte is pretty clear. He's their guy. Last year's production was also pretty compelling. But I do think that it's wise to have some shares of Jaden Blue. Like any handcuff, it's a productive offense. And say what you want about Malik Davis. I don't think he'll disappear. But I think the speed and pass catching ability of Jaden Blue, I think if they were in a shootout, if they were trailing and they just decided like, okay, this ball is going to the running back on like every pass that Lamb and Pickens aren't open, I think Jaden Blue could be the guy that drops like 25 randomly when you need it most. So it could be worthless. Definitely a risky pick, but you know, we're deciding between handcuffs at this point. Very few of them have anything guaranteed. Jaden Blue's no different, but true upside wise, the Cowboys RB2, I think that alone is enough of an argument to take him. So I'm not that high on Jaden Blue, but I've noticed his price going up, and I really don't want to look up and say, oh shit, Jaden Blue is more expensive than Tank Bigsby now, and I have none of him. So round 17 is where I'm willing to kind of mix in my shares of Jaden Blue. I missed it when it was round 18, and I don't want to get stuck with none. But Anthony gonna try and get in the next one. Good luck to you, sir. I will give y'all a countdown, as always. But Young Moolah says, Tucker over QJ is within the range of outcomes in my projections. FYI, and I'm pretty darn good at projections. I wish you the best of luck, Young Moolah. But if that happens, I'm going to be really, really sad. Not going to lie. I'm going to get a bring back. I have no Chiefs on this team. I'm going to go Tyquan Thornton in Kansas City. Might have a deep shot. A desperation deep shot against the Chargers, week 17. All right, let's recap the team. We have a 3-5-8-2 out of the 4th pick of this draft. One of my least favorites, if not truly my least favorite. But we get different. We get the Herbert stacked with QJ and Trey Harris and Gadsden. We have Kyler stacked with Jordan Addison. A very nice fall on both of those players. We have Baker Mayfield on this team at pick 124, a phenomenal value. He is backstacked with McMillan and Ted Hurst. But where we really got different on this one is taking Genty at pick 4. I did not want Puka. I did not want a 0 RB build. And I'm pretty happy, honestly, with my decision. Maybe Hampton was the only player that might have altered this this team a little bit, set up another stack with Herbert, but ultimately we have 3 stacks with Herbert. I think that's enough. I think that's fine. But Scatabo at pick 45, very happy with that. Anytime he's past ADP, I will grab him. I think he should be going in the 3rd round, honestly. But DeAndre Swift in the 5th, always a good pick, very high floor. So if Scatabo does have any risk, anytime missed, we are set with DeAndre Swift. So top 3, I feel very happy with. And then the fade on Saquon. Bigsby will take over, will be the league-winning option at one point. He is my most drafted player across the entire offseason. No other bet I have is bigger than Tank Bigsby. My bags on Bigsby are still not packed, though. I want him pretty much in every draft. Not going to lie. Jaden Blue for a little different exposure before it gets too expensive. There's also the bring back with Scatabo in the final week. But receiver feels pretty strong, not going to lie. I'm very happy with receiver. Drake London, pretty much a lock to finish top 10, and any given week can just dominate. He's probably going to average 11 targets per game. Devontae Smith, though, probably averages 10 targets per game and does have a very prolific track record when A.J. Brown is not in Philly. So that's a solid wide receiver 2. No complaints there. Maybe not my favorite, but really, really high floor, high spike week ability. Quentin Johnston, though, I think is valid at this pick. I think he's always kind of been valid at this pick, but once it goes into round 5, I think that's probably where I'm going to stop taking him. I think he has room to rise, though. I legitimately just want to bet on the Chargers all the time. So take him there, give myself the excuse to grab Herbert. And there was a time when I was taking Addison over QJ. I think they're both really good picks at receiver, but the ADPs are always fluctuating. It is what it is. I don't think QJ has gotten egregiously too expensive. Until he overtakes Marvin Harrison, I still think he is a good pick where he goes. But Addison, loved the value, and then especially stacking him with Herbert was great. With Kyler, that was excellent. And then McMillan felt pretty obvious. I think he should be moving up the board, not falling. Trey Harris, we let him fall a little bit. 8 total picks. It's just a pretty obvious pick when you have Herbert and a pretty consolidated target share. There's not that many other receivers in LA. But then Ted Hurst to complete the double stack. The rookie should deliver. And then Tyquan Thornton, the receiver 3 in Kansas City, one of the valid clicks in round 18, regardless of whether or not you have Mahomes. We have the bring back. This is our chief who will pop off in week 17, hypothetically. That hits our lineup. But then Laporta at tight end feels excellent. Love the coaching acquisition. And I think as long as he's healthy, he is a clear top 5 tight end. In terms of spike week potential, I think he has the clearest path to 10 touchdowns of any tight end other than like Loveland, Bowers, and I don't even know if McBride has a clearer path to 10 touchdowns, honestly. So love Laporta. Think he's an excellent pick at 100. I've been meaning to click him more. I used to take him like crazy, and then for whatever reason, I kind of just pumped the brakes on it. And then he now goes in the 8th round, and I just never get him. So I've actually realized I'm underweight Laporta from where I want to be. I had a shit ton of him in pre-draft, and I think it's about time I start to catch up because he's not a bad pick. Not at all. But then Gadsden, hoping for the year 2 breakout. If we get the correct Mike McDaniel tight end this year, we are in excellent shape. The upside is definitely through the roof. So this team is pretty fire, honestly. I feel very happy with it. And we avoided Puka. I think it was the right call. Just locking in running back in the first 2 rounds, I think, is more important than sticking to ADP. So if you guys like it, let me know in the chat But also, if you think I still should have gone Puka instead of Genti, let me know. I think it turned out excellent. I think it was great. Um, love it in the pit bull. But All Day says, "What's up, brother? Which player do you have the most of so far in each position? Thanks for your live stream." I mentioned it. We have Tank Bigsby as our highest drafted running back. Our highest drafted quarterback is by far and away Justin Herbert. My highest drafted tight end is Dallas Goedert, no question. And then my highest drafted receiver, I also took him on this team, it is Trey Harris. So at quarterback and receiver, I have 2 Chargers, my highest drafted. And then at running back and tight end, I have 2 Philadelphia Eagles. I think that's pretty interesting. Love those 2 offenses. I think they're very valuable. But what if Puka wins the Super Bowl? That's fine. The Super Bowl is not when we're playing for all the money. Week 17 is where it's at. But Sladen, I really wish I had the cojones to actually click Vele at the end there. Let's take a look at Sladen. He had Tyler Shuck. He is a member. Let's take a look at his team. He started triple running back with Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, and Travis. Love Travis at pick 33. I've noticed he's been falling a bit lately. I will take him whenever he falls into the 30s. But Allen at pick 40, so passing on receiver for a while. You do get rewarded, though. The DJ Moore stack did fall to you. So love that. I'm glad it worked out very well. You have Tyler Warren in the 6th. I don't blame you. Pulling up QJ feels a little excessive, but that's ultimately, I think, the next best receiver. So grabbing Tyler Warren instead of a quarterback makes plenty of sense. I like that pick a lot. But then Cortland Sutton, Jaden Reed, Michael Pittman, just sticking to receiver because you need to catch up. Tyler Shuck is paired with Travis, so valid. There's always the back stack as well. Then you took Khalil Shakir for the stack. I respect it. Kincaid was off the board. And then Keaton Mitchell, interesting. Zach Charbonnet, also interesting. Very, very interesting. But I suppose the bet on these 3 is enough. I guess. But stopping there, I think, was important. Good luck with those 5. Debo Samuel, Greg Dulcich, Dontavian Wicks, Jake Tonjes. That's an interesting click. And then Keon Coleman as well. Dulcich, I understand for the bring back. I think he's a valid pick. But with Tyler Warren, I think I would just stop there. I don't think Tonjes really fits this team. I would have grabbed a 9th receiver, honestly. Like, legitimately, I think I would have gone Vele over Tonjes. You do have 8, so maybe I'm overreacting. Shakir is the 5th, is not bad. Debo should pay off. Wicks getting some hype, and then Keon could be a 0, could be excellent. Maybe it's fine. You have Allen and Tyler Shuck, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you're not going receiver, I think grabbing RB6 is also very valid. I love Katron, so you passed on him twice. Yeah, receiver's probably fine. I think I would have gone Katron there instead of Jake Tonjes. Maybe it's worth it, but Tyler Warren is going to be so involved, so consistent. You're not needing that many other points. I think Tyler Warren is one of the best picks on the board, so I might have preferred 2 tight ends there. I think that's the luxury of the build when you take Tyler Warren, but it's such a nitpicking type of thing to complain about. I'm not going to push back too much. It's fine, but I might have gone running back there. Tonjes Wicks was a mini bring back, right? I guess you do have the bring back, but Tonjes could have been Vele, Chris Bell for stacks. I just like having a low-owned guy like Tonjes in a 20 max. That's fair. I think your receiver room was good enough where you can tolerate the risk. I don't think you absolutely need 9, but like Sutton's kind of mid, Pittman's consistent but kind of mid, so is Shakir. Sutton is really important. So Jaden Reed's upside is kind of one of the few areas. The receiver room feels like it needs like some swing for the fence. Maybe it doesn't, but like Jaden Reed's kind of one of the only true high upside guys you can kind of project. So good luck, Sladen. I don't hate the team. I love the triple running back start. given what you were left. Henry there, I'm fine with over Chase Brown and Achan. And then Travis at 33, I don't think I would pass either. Pretty good team. Receiver, we'll see. But quarterback, tight end feels excellent. The receiver depth, kind of the only question. But I'm never ever getting fourth out of that receiver room. To expect 4 receivers in your lineup is not the move. So it's probably fine. Probably checks out. Good luck. I hope everyone stays healthy. That needs to. But let me catch up with the chat real quick. We got Young Moolah in here, also a member. So I will review his team. And then otherwise, I'm not sure if we have another member in the house other than Montano. Montano, I know, is a member. So we got Young Moolah and Montano for team reviews, and then we'll hop into a super flex that is currently winning the poll by a pretty wide margin. So it looks like super flex is our next draft. Lock that in. But blue, love it. Great pick. Jaden Blue, worth mixing in every now and then. Hulk Smash Potatoes, yeah, it won't take much news for any of these ambiguous RBs to fly up to the 140s. We've seen also a shit ton of hype with the Cowboys backfield in the past. Blue was a big slappy candidate, so the people ready to slap it up again, I think will be trigger happy if it's justified. But Losimo, why so in on tank contingency, or do you think he has standalone value? I think he has a little bit of standalone value. I don't know if they really want to force feed Saquon to the point of like ensuring he gets hurt. But ultimately, Saquon has a lot of injury risk in the past. The Eagles are also a team that are in flux. Losing A.J. Brown, I would assume they probably want to run the ball a little bit more, perhaps, to fill out some of those targets. However, they also gave Tank Bigsby a single-digit number. He's now number 8. You usually don't do that with a backup that you don't plan to use. And then ultimately, I just believe in Howie Roseman as one of the best GMs in the NFL. He traded for him for a reason last year. So if it's ever his time, we saw last year he had 17 carries, 4 targets in a game. 20 touches is not an unrealistic projection. And behind the Eagles' O-line, I think he very much has the most contingent upside when it comes to injuries at the running back position, because other than him, other than the Eagles, it's hard to find a more compelling argument. Like, the Falcons is pretty compelling. The Niners are very compelling, but the Niners is split between 2 players. You know, you're not totally sure between Jordan James and Kalen Black. In Philly, Will Shipley's on the roster bubble. It's pretty clear to me. It's pretty obvious from the get-go. Just looking at last year's usage, Tank won the job. Tank is the clear RB2. And I think the fade on Saquon is fairly legit. Saquon has gone down multiple times, gotten a shit ton of carries, not as effective last year. I think it's a pretty obvious path for Tank Bigsby. It's an all or nothing bet, though. Until Saquon gets hurt, he's probably not hitting the lineup more than once or twice. But last year, he had like a 90-yard rushing game, if I'm not mistaken, while Saquon was active. And then when he went down, Bigsby saw 20 touches. So that's why I like him. It may never pay off, but if it does, you're going to regret not having much Tank Bigsby. But what's up, Wilson? How we doing? Thanks for popping in. Crumb says QJ was a first rounder and Tucker third, similar to Igbuka Godwin comp. QJ all day. I would agree. Give me the Chargers wide receiver 2, possibly even receiver 1. I think that's actually more up for grabs than people think. Then the Raiders, even wide receiver 1 behind Bowers. It's just not the same equation. Trey Tucker is just relying on one massive game. He has a few other usable weeks, but it's just not the same thing as QJ, who's also in a contract year. But what's up, Batweet? I'm catching up with the chat, and we got a couple team reviews. We'll be drafting a super flex next. But Vegeta Super Saiyan says, debate Bears receivers are a trap again this year. They haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver since 2023. They have the hardest schedule, and Caleb was 31st in accuracy. I think the Bears receiver are no bueno. Well, at the very least, if you're going to draft one, take Rome at cost. Rome is way more affordable, so that's the one I want to be overweight on. But I'm going to trust Ben Johnson when he tells me to buy Luther Burden stock. I think ultimately there's just not that many places for the ball to go. And even if Caleb doesn't throw for 4,000 yards, last year it was very close. I still think you want in on a very consolidated target share. But I think Loveland should go ahead of Burden and Rome. I think Loveland should be the first bear off the board. Hulk Smash says Eagles have a brutal playoff schedule, Seahawks, Texans, but then have the Niners in week 17, so they could be the low-owned pieces you need. Yeah, overcommitting to the Eagles with their playoff schedule is not the most exciting thing. I do worry about the Seahawks and Texans, that's for sure. Maybe Devontae Smith is not the best pick because of that. But all day, do you do Eliminator? If so, do you use a different strategy? I do them on occasion, and I'm someone that really focuses on early season schedule. I want to really care about the schedule. That's something I want to focus on a little bit extra. So I'm going to be doing my schedule predictions in the coming weeks. That's going to really help me hone down my understanding of who has a positive early season schedule versus late season schedule, who is more in winning game script. And I'll do more eliminators down the stretch, but that's kind of the only strategy shift I have. I want early season production, and then I'll take my chances once I advance to the money weeks. But let's start this bad boy. We're getting there. I had to catch up. But Ton just had 3 games of 10-plus points last year. Pretty good value, in my opinion. That is not a bad point, Ever in Flux. I think the handcuff appeal is phenomenal. He will have some touches in the end zone, that's for sure. Even when Kittle is healthy. It's not a terrible pick. I don't mind it that much, but it felt a little bit unnecessary given Tyler Warren was already on the team. All right, Young Moolah, though, is a member. Let me rip through this really quickly. He has Burrow, Tua, and Penix, both Falcons. It's a strategy. It's very inexpensive. Burrow is a big bet. Paired with Jamar Chase is the way to do it. But Jeremiah Love, Beischel, Tootin. Looks like you're high on Tootin, Young Moolah. Kind of interesting. But Dobbins, Jordan Mason, Sean Tucker, and Marshawn Lloyd, pretty eclectic, pretty balanced. Some early season points, hopefully some later season points. If you can carry Jeremiah Love to the playoffs, you're in business. So good luck with that. Not my favorite strategy, but ultimately kind of a tough spot sometimes when you go receiver from the 3, 4, 5 overall. But receivers really strong. You have not just Jamar, but you also have T. Higgins. I love that with Burrow. Didn't even notice that at first, but love that. Christian Watson, you took on that side of the board. Also a little bit different. Parker Washington, 7 spots past ADP. Rashid Shaheed at 122, a little early on Shaheed, but one of the values in that range. I think he could go higher, so I don't hate that either. He does fall sometimes, I will say. Sometimes he's available with your next pick. But you took Trey Tucker. You have the massive belief on Tucker, your boy, so love the conviction. I do think Tucker's a value where he goes, but he's not going to outscore Quentin Johnston unless there's an injury. Adonai Mitchell, not my favorite click, but has gotten some camp hype. Good luck with that. I think overall, though, the receiving core makes a lot of sense. I'm someone who also pulls up T. Higgins. I honestly love the bet, the double stack with Burrow, even more justified. But Kyle Pitts and Chig Okonkwo, you can totally get away with that. I'm chilling over there. So calling your shot, Young Moolah. The running back room feels balanced and well built. It came at a cost. You punted quarterback, but it is stacked up with Kyle Pitts, and at least you have one guy available every single week, all season. Pretty legit team. I got no complaints. Running back needs to hit. There's a world where Dobbins goes down early. Mason never does anything. And then Beischel Tootin is, again, only running for like 3.6 yards per carry and lets you down. But I don't want to think completely pessimistic. I love Tucker's value. Lloyd is worth clicking. And then Love is just so talented. Good luck. Receiver feels fine. All right. Good team, Young Moolah. No notes, honestly. Like, legitimately, I think it all checks out. But Montano, also a member. Let's take a look real quick. T-Law, Jared Goff, and Aaron Rodgers. That's fine. Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs. Quinshon Judkins at 58 is excellent. Tyrone Tracy, not my favorite pick, but good luck there. Isaiah Pacheco at 154, solid, probably finds his way into the end zone. Enough to matter. But Amon-Ra, Lad McConkey, BTJ, Matthew Golden, Jalen Coker, Antonio Williams, and Troy Franklin. Don't love the Antonio Williams pick at all, to be honest, but I think the top 5 are chilling. A few week 7 buys, but really not the end of the world. Tight end is very strong. Kraft, Strange, and Freiermuth. Pretty legit. Pretty legit. Yeah, I don't personally love the Tyrone Tracy or Pacheco click. I'm also Scatabo over Jacobs, to be honest. But those are just player takes. Structurally, it all checks out. I hope these guys pay off ADP, but they are kind of risky, and maybe the depth at receiver is a bit thin. But you also hit the flex with tight end pretty consistently. That is also a strategy as well. Pretty solid team. No major concerns other than like player takes on Tracy and Pacheco. But Shaheed, best pick in the 11th round. I am not worried about no stinking ADP. Fair enough from Young Moolah. I respect it. All right, the poll has spoken. We're drafting a Superflex next, and it's also about time I rip the pipe for y'all. So I'm going to pull this up. We'll give you guys a little countdown. So if you want to hop in, you can. And a reminder, the delay on the stream is roughly 5-6 seconds. So if you want to join the lobby, I would recommend hitting enter by the time I have counted to 5. I think if you hit enter when the countdown is over, you are playing with fire, and it is not a guarantee. So we will enter a German Shepherd Superflex in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. 2 spots left. Definitely a chance. Hopefully you made it. Which pick did I get? I never get early picks. As expected, I'm on the end. Pick 12. That sucks. My exposure to someone like Josh Allen in all my Superflex contests is actually very low. I have not been getting good early round picks in the Superflex leagues like ever. But all right, we got Gotham Guy in at the 101. Josh Teen at the 102. El Jurup Ludo. Elguero Peludo. Okay. It's Spanish. Elguero Peludo at the 103. K Park in at the 104. Our boy Jesus BMZ in at the 105 again. Jesus did not get a team review last time, but let's give him one this time. Second draft, definitely gonna take a peek. And then Mac 10 President, not sure if you're watching, but you're at the 107. One must win at the 108. The Burgess is in here at the 109. What's up? Welcome in. Anthony, our boy Spurs G at the 110. And then Jordan Madden, maybe the son of the Madden, probably not, but in at the 111. Good luck, everyone. It's time for a rip. Y'all are requesting it. Let's go. Let's take a rip. We are on to draft number 2. I'm realizing I don't have the music on. Let's bring that in. Definitely for draft number 2. Let's get the vibes going. But always interesting. These Superflex lobbies are never the same. I feel like there's literally no chance that you get the same lobby once you hit like pick 20. Like, there's so many different nuances to this format, so many different preferences, a lot of different strategies, and some people really neglect stacking because of how the ADPs don't really line up sometimes, but it's a very legit aspect of the game. Don't want to fade it too hard. But is this the last draft, A-Rod? I'm not sure. Where are we at on the likes? We got 31 likes, 46 people watching. Appreciate everyone for liking the video. If we get to 40 likes, we'll draft one more. How about that? But yeah, nice to see you, Anthony. Excited for you. You go Caleb at the 110. And y'all are going to leave me my man. We go Herbert for sure. I'm 100% taking a quarterback here. No doubt about it. I'm tempted to pull up Mahomes. I've done that plenty of time. But I don't want to fall behind at running back. And sure, I'm willing to have a Christian McCaffrey share. It's right in line with ADP, but fuck it. Maybe it's just right. We'll go CMC. Not going to do anything strange. Today, we stick with ADP. Herbert, CMC. I think I can get some good quarterback values at the next turn. There's usually at least one I really like. But Best Ball Bobby. Yo, what's up, Bobby? Appreciate you for popping in. Are you Mac 10 president? I'm not totally sure. Please let me know. But you're a member. You're in green. So I would love to give you the proper team review accordingly. Please let me know which pick you have. Good to see you. But Pepper Tony, running back, quarterback at the 1-2, Willis at the 3-4, easy clicks. I know I don't want to just do what everyone else does though. At least so far, it's been pretty easy. But Slayton says brutal, and the overflow has gone from 10 out of 12 to 5 out of 12. That's unfortunate. That's never fun. But if I had to guess, it's already filled by now. It probably won't take forever. But you know what? For you, Ever and Flux, we'll go up and smoke one more time. How about that? Colin Willett's in here at the 106. CJ Willie, number 8. Good to see you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for popping in. Not sure I've seen you before, but cheers, brother. Welcome to the lobby. And you start off Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. Ain't no problem with that. Absolutely fine with that. Batwheat, unfortunately, did not make it. I'm going to try the next one. Ended up doing a Wawa. Yeah, the Chihuahua is going to fill really fast. I would love to max the Chihuahua. I believe it's only like 25 max, right? If I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. I might be thinking of a different one. But those always fill super, super quickly. Pepper Tony, I joined, but I have no money. That's fair. There are times when you just can't quite swing it. But good luck getting some more. Good luck to everyone getting some more money. GM to everyone. That's what it means on this channel. Get money, get money. That's what we're all trying to do. But okay. Herbert CMC. If Hampton falls, I'll probably take him. But no guarantees. Mac 10 president goes May, Dart, and Tyler Shuck. Not fucking around, just getting as many quarterbacks as possible. Everyone Flux, it's the summer, gotta ride the wave. I am from Southern California. I've never surfed before. But I have ridden the wave. Jeez, my nose is so itchy right now. Love almost made it back. That would have been lit. That would have been sweet. I will take Malik Willis here, though. Even though Pepper Tony called it from a mile away, I will take it, especially paired up with Devon Achane. That's a pretty legit pairing. I don't have much of Achane, but if there's one guy I know is going to catch the ball in Miami, it's Devon Achane. I'll do that. 67 catches last year, 78 the year prior. Might be dwindling down, but the touches will be there. You know what? For Peppertoni, we are pulling up Achan. Technically, he's past ADP, but I'm not going to pass him up here in the Superflex contest. I want running backs in the Superflex contest at a higher rate, higher clip than any other position compared to the other formats. Like, you get the minor discount. Like, you're not capable of drafting Achan in the 4th round ever in the other formats. So I don't know if you have to go completely overboard on quarterback early on in these formats. You want to by at least the 5th round. I think if you don't have 2 when you hit round 6 and you're gambling that Rodgers is going to make it back to you, you are definitely playing with fire. So while I think you need some early, I don't think you need to go completely crazy. And there is the element of, like, I can also start 4 running backs in a given week. And if I'm starting 4 top 10 options in the weeks that matter, good luck. You know, good luck catching up. I may not need that extra quarterback at all. But Peppertoni, I've become a slow bro this year. First out of desperation, now by choice. I'm just in the acceptance stage of denial. Stages of grief. Yeah, the slow drafts is a rough experience. I'm not a fan. But that's where I hope the live streams can scratch the itch. You know, you live vicariously. But I get it. 5 RBs by round 9 or 10 feels good to me. It gets bad once Keaton Mitchell goes. Yeah, I mean, I would argue it gets bad once Keaton Mitchell is top of ADP. Once Tyrone Tracy is top of ADP. Once Chris Rodriguez is off the board. Yikes. Running back is pretty brutal. But Air Jeff, surprise Team 7 didn't take AJ to stack with May. I think despite it making a lot of sense, I think sometimes you see the ADP doesn't agree with it and you're like, fuck it. But I did it the other day. It felt pretty strong. But taking London's a good pick as well. If London hadn't gotten hurt last year, we might be drafting London where we're drafting like JSN. Like, London was showing the potential that we had been waiting for. The injury is really the only thing that derailed him. So I get the argument on London, but obviously the stack is appealing as well. Will he try to stack up Jex and Dart though with neighbors in the coming rounds? We'll find out. But A-Rod, I don't understand the hate on Achan. The Dolphins were trash last year and he was still great. In my PPR league, he carried me while Chase Brown was in his slump due to the Brown injury. The Dolphins are just not going to score as many touchdowns as they did with Mike McDaniel. Now, were they trash last year? That's an argument. Are they going to be worse? I think that's a pretty safe bet. And ultimately, I think that's where the fade on Achan comes in. I think ultimately, if you're not Hampton over Achan, you're a little delusional. I think you just have to believe in Mike McDaniel. But I don't think fading him is a super wise move. I've been warming up to taking more shares of him lately. That's for sure. But if it wasn't stacked up, I don't know if I would care for it as much. The ADP means nothing. They all kind of correlate here. I'm going to take Ladd with one of these picks. I don't give a shit. He's not going to circle back. I will take Ladd. Stacked him up with Herbert, my wide receiver 1. I do not care. But damn, running back is starting to get thin already. I could go Mendoza, but I think I'm going to leave that alone. The value says Devontae, but running back is dwindling. Fuck it. I'm going to take Travion Henderson. I'm still a believer that Travion can win the job. At the end of the day, I don't actually believe in Ramondre Stevenson. I think if there's enough confidence in Travion, they will phase out Ramondre Stevenson. Or Ramondre could just get hurt like he did last year, miss some time, and we have just a fucking cold-blooded assassin. House call waiting to happen. 80 yards, untouched. He's got the speed. True elite. Horsepower. Let's go Travion Henderson. Let's live a little bit, shall we? The best case scenario argument for Travion is better than Breece Hall, better than Kyron, better than Jeremiah, maybe even better than Devon Achane. Like, legitimately, his true ceiling is that high. So, fuck it. I'll take Travion. Running back is getting thinned out, and in that tier, what we typically consider the 4-5 turn, as much as I feel like there's safer picks, Swift is obviously safer. Montgomery feels safer, but just not as exciting. Bucky Irving feels more risky, honestly. At least in my opinion. Quinshon, also very talented, safe bet, but it's the Browns. Yo, the Patriots is just the most compelling bet by far. Ramondre is just the only problem. So I'm going to live. It's my money. I get to do what I want with it. And today, I want Travion Henderson as RB3. There are a lot of late running back names I like with uncertainty and upside, or just some kind of role. Tracy, Keaton, Marks, Tyjae, Tank, Sampson, Tucker. They're all pretty good, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Woody Marks, to be honest. I think Woody's a pretty bad pick, honestly. Woody delivered when there was no tape on him, and then he just failed to get in the end zone time and time again. I don't believe in Woody Marks. His ceiling feels rather capped in half PPR. Yeah, there's also some olds that are worth it. And then if you really want to wait, yeah, these names check out. Taj Brooks I have not taken. I will admit, I've not grabbed Taj Brooks, but vis-a-vis Taj and Samaje Perine, it definitely sounds more compelling. We'll see what happens this year, but I could still see Samaje hang on for dear life. A-Rod says Breece Hall is on the Jets, and there's not as much hate as Achane situation. Doesn't make sense to me. The ADP is still much higher for Achane, so I think it just feels kind of gross compared to drafting Kenneth Walker, compared to drafting Hampton. I mean, even Saquon, I think, is an easier click to make than Achane when you consider all of the Miami circumstances, all of the variables, all of the data that says you don't want players, especially running backs, on bad offenses. You don't want receivers either, but like in general, you just don't want players. However, he's that good. You can't have zero. I'm not going to take Jadarian Price here, though. That's not the move. Could get back in at receiver with Adams. That'd be pretty legit. Adams for sure with one of these picks. Tyler Warren's kind of valuable here. I would say, like, by far the most valuable tight end. And it would give me the luxury of ignoring it for a while. I'm kind of worried about what running backs will circle back, but I kind of just want the starting roster to be as good as possible. And Tyler Warren, I think, is an excellent, excellent pick. right at ADP, but in general, his ADP is too low. Like, what's weird is, like, Loveland is like a 5th round pick in this one, so falls a little bit. But compared to where Bowers and McBride go, he's actually closing the gap significantly. And then I'm not convinced that Tyler Warren is that much less valuable than Colson Loveland. I could see Tyler Warren be the tight end 2 on the season. I think Tyler Warren is an excellent bet, especially with the Alec Pierce situation, Pittman leaving. Yeah, kind of an obvious target share in Indy that's just massively weighted towards Tyler Warren. He's the true alpha in Indianapolis. But Hendo Fudd stops here. Look, Hendo could be the piece you actually need. He's got the breakaway speed. He's got the skill set. I'm having fun today. We're betting on Christian McCaffrey. We're already leaning into some risk. So I don't see why not. Those 2 bull hits are doing work on me. Good luck, Everin Flux, but I respect the for the Saturn emoji. We got Saturn right behind me, right there. We're taking another rip. We are almost halfway through this draft. It is time. We're in round 8. Let's do it. Pepper Tony says taking Monty over Hendo is like playing for 7th place or something. It does feel rather mid. And then their playoff schedule's also pretty gross, right? In week 15, the Houston Texans are hosting Jacksonville. The Jags had one of the worst run matchups you could ask for in fantasy last year. Running backs were terrible against the Jags. In week 16, Houston will be at Philadelphia. Say what you want about the Eagles, but their defense is not something I want to bet against. Vic Fangio knows what he's doing, and they typically are a very stout run defense. So playoff schedule wise, it's brutal. And then week 17, they're at Green Bay. That is a very fast defense. Micah Parsons, maybe not the best run blocker, but he will be healthy at that point. And the weather is definitely going to benefit it. But if they know what is going to happen every play, if it's so snowy in Lambeau that Montgomery gets 30 touches, maybe that's the only argument for it. But the playoff schedule sucks for Houston. I think he has an excellent schedule at the beginning of the year. I actually love him in the Eliminator, but he's been shown to get injury prone in the past. I'm not totally convinced he stands up all 17 games. That is a concern. I mean, Kraft here would be pretty fucking interesting. Not sure it fits the team very much. Ultimately, because I bet on Tyler Warren, I think ignoring tight end, despite it being like a blaring value, I think is ultimately the move. I have been starting to take Rashad over Kenny Gainwell, so he's going to be one of my picks here. I'm not going to take Alec Pierce. I'm going to fade receiver. I think I can still get a good one. I could take QJ, but watch him make it back. I'm going to take Jonathan Brooks. Let's bet on upside again. We got the floor play with Rashad, and then the massive league-winning swing on Jonathan Brooks. Week to week, I also am not really counting on Travion or Brooks in the lineup too much, but this is how I want to play the super flex formats. Like, I forget who said it in the chat earlier, but 5 running backs by round 9 feels pretty good. I'm at the 9-10 turn. We are in a pocket at running back where there's still some pretty legit value. I'll go Rashad and Jonathan Brooks today. Everinflux said it. 5 RBs by round 9 or 10 feels good to me. It gets bad once Keaton Mitchell goes. At this point, we have no concern about who's left on the board after Keaton Mitchell. If anything, if my boy Tank Bigsby is there, we'll take him. But otherwise, I could just stop at 5. I think this is a good enough running back room to just stop at 5. I will want 4 quarterbacks. Herbert and Malik Willis is good enough, but I want to take some extra swings. The last couple years, there's been like 60, at least like 55 different starting quarterbacks every single year. It's a trend I expect to repeat. There will be points all over the place at quarterback. So I like grabbing some backups in the final 2 rounds. Getting extremely cheap with it, I think, is the way to go. Because Tua off the board already. Brissett off the board. Penix off the board. Now we're looking at the massage, Watson, or Shadur Sanders. I'm not inclined to draft either of them on my teams. If there's only one, give me Shadur, but it's pretty uninspiring. You might get like 2 games at 25 plus points, but it's going to be less than 15 most of the time. I'm of the belief that Deshaun Watson is completely washed. He looked like shit last time we saw him. He's also going to get booed off the field again. That's not going to help the morale. The team chemistry is not going to be very cohesive when Deshaun is under center. But A-Rod says, any chance Emmanuel Wilson actually gets used? I took him way too much right before the 3rd string reps report. It's early enough in training camp where, you know, Holani's been with the team. I could understand why he still has the run. Like, it's still not quite like officially training camp. So I wouldn't put too much stock in it. It's really not the end of the world. But, yeah, it feels like a very, very bad pick with every passing day. There's not much excitement in terms of reasoning to take him. So, yeah, I hear where you're coming from. I hear what you're saying. The chance is still like 20%. I would still put the chance at 20%. Not going to take Deshaun here. Not going to do it. I refuse. If anything, I need wide receiver. Josh Downs is top ADP. I think I will just do that. And then I have made a very big bet on the Matthew Golden breakout. I will continue to increase those shares. I think this is the position I very clearly need on this team. We get a little fall on Josh Downs. 7 picks is not nothing. I do reach on Golden by 6 picks, so pretty much negated. Maybe I should have just taken Quentin Johnston, but the running back values left on the board. Brooks versus Jordan Mason. There's a world where Mason is more valuable than Brooks, and yet he's still not valuable, like worth this pick either. So in terms of just true upside, I think Brooks has by far the highest remaining when I took him. And similar to the Travion pick, let's live a little. Who cares about some risk? We took Christian McCaffrey today. We are betting on the most optimistic, healthiest outcome imaginable. But, woo-wee! Everinflux is satisfied with this build. A reminder, we have a 2-5-4-1. Didn't want to judge it until we got those last 2 receivers. I was a little bit worried, not going to lie. I wasn't going to be too happy with who was available. But Downs at 132, I think, was a great fall. We also have Tyler Warren, so double Colts bet. And then Matthew Golden, I think, is one of the last, like, pretty inspiring picks. But, all right, Herbert and Malik Willis at quarterback. Running back with 5, CMC, Achane, Travion, Rashad White, and Jonathan Brooks. We are shooting for the moon. Our receiver room has Ladd McConkey, Devontae Adams, Josh Downs, and Matthew Golden. And then our tight end is Tyler Warren. Feels pretty fucking good, to be honest with you. I need a sweet. Was that the request? I keep telling myself he was taking third string reps so Prince could get reps before training camp. He might have like an interesting spike week, like week 2 or 3. I think that's possible, but I think overall they're going to pivot off of him pretty quickly. And he's kind of just there for like vibes and like an insurance policy. If they have really no one, then they'll give him a shot. But I could see a scenario where he just doesn't really like pick up the offense quickly enough to get out of the third string reps. If that's the case, then it's a pretty worthless pick. But if you ask Packers fans, they respect him. They think he's pretty good. They respect him. So I wouldn't completely rule it out. We're still not in August, so I think he'll be okay. Not amazing though. Definitely not amazing. If anything, I would be pivoting to Sharps. I've started to buy in on Sharps. Honestly, if I'm taking a 6 running back here, I think it might be Sharps. That's really just like betting on, a massive swing for the fence. We're really trying to just win first if we take Sharps. Is it lined up here? I mean, it's not terrible. ADP 161. ADP means kind of nothing in Superflex. I could take Gadsden again. Not dying to do it. Not dying to take Carson Beck either. Fuck it. I'm drafting Charbonnet today. Talk myself into it. Yeah, we're not worried about injury risk. We have CMC. We have Jonathan Brooks. There's no concern for injury on this team. So I'm done at running back. Let's go Sharps. And then tight end is probably the move here. Gadsden was sniped. So my ranks have Hunter Henry. It's a different bye week. No concern. I don't like the value at receiver, but Travis Hunter's kind of tempting. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just trust Tyler Warren. Let's go Travis Hunter. Like, if this team isn't just like sending it, I don't know what is. Maybe there's some more risky picks we could have made. Maybe there's a more sendy send you could possibly send, but I feel very happy with the bets that we're making. We're just shooting for raw upside all over the place. It is what it is. The run through the garden. Your thoughts on Michael Wilson outscoring Marv this year? Who is throwing them the ball? Good question. Honestly, it's very possible. It's pretty live. If I'm not mistaken, it's a contract year for Michael Wilson as well. So if Brissett favors him, if Harrison gets hurt, if Harrison's just dropping the ball a shit ton again, it's new coaching staff. They might not give a shit. They may not give a shit what the draft capital is. So I wouldn't bet on it. I think they need to know what they ultimately have in Marvin Harrison. There's too much invested in him. But from a talent perspective, I'm not convinced it's impossible. So you may have something. I think it's more likely, though, that if Michael Wilson does outscore Marv, it's because he pays off his ADP and Marv just busts. Marv is just atrocious. Rather than the scenario where Marv pays off his ADP and Michael Wilson is just that much better. Like here, Harrison went round 9, Michael Wilson round 11, almost a full 2 rounds later. 2 rounds and 1 extra pick, 25 picks. I think it's more likely Harrison is just terrible rather than Michael Wilson is that much better. But he was elite last year. Maybe I'm not giving him enough credit. I know my boy Candyman, Chris, Fantasy Football Garage, does like him a lot and thinks that his fall has been way too precipitous, way too low. And honestly, I'm starting to worry that I've ignored Michael Wilson a little bit too much. I've actually started to look at my exposure in that area and wondered if maybe I should just accept this fall on Michael Wilson. It probably can't get much lower, right? It's probably worth it, given its true upside was just tremendous. Because, you know, it's not like McBride wasn't crushing last year alongside him. They were both just getting insane target production. So he proved he can handle it. Maybe they trust him again, but it's not the best bet. I would say it's pretty slim run through. I would say it's like maybe 20% max. If anything, closer like 10%. But Colin, what do you think about reaching for Kelsey and Mahomes stack? I don't mind it, especially in this format where the ADP's all out of whack. Looks like you took him. Glad you did. Over Harold Fannin, I don't mind it. I don't think he was making it back to you. Not at all. That was a pocket of the draft for tight end. Damn, the difference between Kraft and then Kittle 8 picks later. Holy shit. Maybe I should have taken Kraft, honestly. Like, damn. Kraft was a fucking steal in this. 110, and then Kelsey goes 115. I mean, all due respect, CJ Willie, like, take Kelsey there. I think it's valid. I don't mind it over Fannin. But, like, Kraft 5 picks earlier? Holy shit. That's wild. But thanks, Everyone Flux. I think our team is pretty legit so far. This would be a pretty good pocket to grab tight end, though. It's definitely all atop the ADP. There is the stack with Dulcich available. Barner versus Schultz. I think Barner scores more touchdowns. We have Tyler Warren by week 13. Could also go Trey Harris. I think I will grab Trey Harris. I have Herbert, so I'll just lock that up. And then the question here is, am I actually favoring the Greg Dulcich stack over, I think, the money in the bank pick in Dalton Schultz, who's 11 picks past ADP, or the higher touchdown bet in AJ Barner, who's also 6 picks past? I'll go Dalton Schultz. I'll go with the divisional correlation, just more money in the bank, like I said. And then also the big fall, 11 picks was pretty compelling. Trying to be a little bit unique. And one way of doing that is to take top of ADP when they're a big faller. So, yeah, if my note for Dalton Schultz is money in the bank, 11 picks past ADP, it's probably the right click. It's probably the right move. No issue with that. Despite not getting the Greg Dulcich stack, it's probably pretty common. I also already have Achane. I think that stack is possibly more valuable, to be honest with you. I don't mind the Dulcich stack, but it's such a easy, lazy click to make when you already have Malik Willis. I've definitely made it already in the past in Superflex. I'm sure I'm not the only one that would have done that. But am I going to be the only one who gets Schultz around past ADP? Possibly. Probably a less likely combo than the obvious Dulcich stack. But Sladen says, my bad, I thought we were rattling off SPM song titles. No worries, brother. Air Jeff, you may want to take a stab with Anthony Richardson for the Warren down stack. Shot in the dark, but who knows about Danny Dimes? Shh. One of my favorite picks in this format. And is only my second entry in the contest, so absolutely. Air Jeff, definitely in the cards. We have 4 clicks left in this lobby. Maybe because you mentioned it, I'm going to have to take him at 205 now. Maybe I'm not going to be able to push it. But Slayton has been enjoying some of the Riley Leonard round 20. That might be more valid, honestly, than Richardson. Yeah, for the sake of the stack, maybe that's worth mixing in, honestly. Because Richardson, I see more of a trade candidate type of guy. I could easily see the Colts just be done with him. Riley Leonard, though, did get some starts down the stretch. He had the final start of the season. It's possible, but not sure. Batwee, I think I'm done with Ayuk. He went to the deep end and continued to dig. Yeah, I've been out for a few months now. Join us. Ayuk is now retired. Until he actually signs, I'm not going to click him. Until he actually signs, I'm done. But the run through the garden, wonderful thoughts, and agreed. Make or break for Marv. I'd rather buy the cheaper asset. Michael Wilson's numbers were crazy, right? It feels like the much more logical stance to make. Maybe when Michael Wilson was going at the top of the 7th round, I was not excited about it. But now I think I've kind of just ignored him too much to the point where I'm often looking for different players in that round. Like, you know, it's very compelling to have to take a quarterback there. Like Brock Purdy versus Michael Wilson. It's tough to take Michael Wilson, but ultimately this is the price where you should probably just bite the bullet. Michael Wilson pick 100 is probably fine. Probably worth the risk. There's not that much anymore. But Leonard is diabolical in non-superflex time boxes if he hits. If he hits is a major if. You know, they still brought in Phillip Rivers ahead of him. You know, that's still also a factor. Not great. Tight end fell off a cliff, though. I'm going to go Colby Parkinson. Because even Njoku's not here. Burgess fucking sniped me. And then, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to fuck around. I have 6 receivers already. I'll go Richardson just because... Look, I'll be honest. As much as Riley Leonard might have a chance, that would probably mean that they trade Richardson. That's probably what it means. They're going to give Richardson a shot. If Daniel Jones goes down, they have to give Richardson one last chance. For the sake of the rookie contract, for the sake of the 4th overall pick, you can't just seal the book unless Daniel Jones just fucking crushes. But in terms of remaining trade candidates at quarterback, I don't see that many other names that would actually move the needle for many franchises. So if they're willing to take a gamble, maybe their guy goes down with an injury, Richardson could absolutely be on the move. But at the very least, if he stays, I could see a 3-week stint filling in for Daniel Jones. Maybe more if it's a big injury. But Richardson has that truly elite upside. Like, Richardson can drop a 30-point game. That is what we're looking for in Superflex. So, balls to the wall, no risk concerns. We're just drafting highest upside possible. And so far, we have a 3-6-6-3. I don't think I'm drafting a 4th tight end. With Colby Parkinson there, kind of more expensive than I wanted to take him. Not that excited to take one more. Plus, I have Tyler Warren. I'm just betting on Tyler Warren. That's pretty safe. Receiver, probably could use number 7. I think running back is done. And then quarterback 4 is going to join the team. Definitely. But in terms of stacking partners, I could go with the rookie in LA for the Rams. I'm not going to go Trey Lance. I'm not interested in that. But I'm already forgetting what his name is. Who did they just draft in round 1? It was like controversial. Alabama quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look it up. The Rams drafted Ty Simpson. Ty motherfucking Simpson. Maybe Ty Simpson is worth it, but I don't know if he would be the most valuable with Devontae Adams. I'm not sure where I'm going to go yet. We got time to think about it. But I'll take one more receiver and then one more quarterback. Slayton says, what is truth is between Leonard and Dimes. I feel okay drafting Pierce, Downs, and Warren. I mean, Warren is fine regardless. I don't know about the receivers. I could see one of the receivers fucking crater. I could see one of them getting really worthless really quickly. But JJ McCarthy is the starter again by week 7. Now that's a stance. The Burgess believes in McCarthy. I do not. Good luck with that. Jameis Winston is my favorite backup to draft in Superflex. He's one of my favorites as well. I've definitely taken a shit ton of Jameis. But Justin Fields at 222. If he was available here, I think I would have taken him. Yeah, Ty Simpson. Not on my radar very much. Glad I didn't take Pat Bryant. It looks like he's going to make it back. Maybe Jordan Maiden takes him. Only 5 receivers probably needs it. Goes Torrey Horton. I'm on the clock now. I think I'll probably just take Pat Bryant. I like Surratt, but don't think I need to mix him in here. The bet on the Denver Broncos receiver 3, though, is pretty compelling. Probably pretty valuable if it hits. Quarterback, though, is this last pick. And there's no one that really stacks up. But one of my other favored clicks this late is Marcus Mariota. If you're in the market for a quarterback and Jaden Daniels goes down, Mariota is like quarterback 13, quarterback 14, quarterback 15 on the week. And definitely can spike. I want some quarterbacks with rushing upside when I draft this late. We go with Richardson, double stacked, and then Marcus Mariota, unstacked, but still just capable of really delivering when you need him to. So, quarterback room feels pretty sweet. Justin Herbert, Malik Willis, Anthony Richardson, and Marcus Mariota, all 4 have very high rushing upside. That is phenomenal. The running back room is pretty lit. Let's just hope everyone stays healthy and realizes their true potential. But Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane. Achane is stacked up with Malik Willis. We have Travion Henderson, Rashad White, Jonathan Brooks. And then the bet on Zach Charbonnet. I am not afraid. If I have Sharbs in my starting lineup in week 17, I will be gloating. I can assure you that. I think from a talent standpoint, no other running back is better than Zach Charbonnet going later. There is no one more talented than Zach Charbonnet available. Love Tank Bigsby, but he is not Zach Charbonnet. Let's just hope that Charbonnet is actually healthy. But I think the bets I already made, like, if they don't hit, I'm kind of screwed. So let's just hope for the best. But receiver, I think, is fine. Like, legitimately, I think it's totally fine. Lad McConkey, Devontae Adams. Josh Downs kind of saves the roster. And then Matthew Golden, if he hits, holy shit, watch out. Travis Hunter, a major gamble. I think that's why I needed wide receiver 7. But then Trey Harris also stacks up. We have Pat Bryant as well. Team's pretty decent. Team is decent. Ladd and Trey Harris with our Herbert stack. Feels great. But then Tyler Warren holding it down at tight end. We also have Dalton Schultz and Colby Parkinson. Pretty sweet. Slayton says he got Debo at 200 and Jeremy at 223 in the overflow. That's pretty sweet value. That's awesome. That sounds awesome. Where did Debo go in this one? Debo is off the board. I lost him. 179. That's excellent. And then Jeremy at 188. Damn. 35 picks. Damn. That's an excellent fall on Jeremy. Holy shit. But Cardinals should draft Jameis. Wouldn't that be a sight? I I mean, draft Jameis. It might be too late for them to draft him, but yeah, sign him. Trey Lance season. Slayton, don't you curse me. Slayton, don't you put this dark voodoo on me. No, not with my 30% Justin Herbert shares. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Colin, what do I think about the team? Colin, I will take a look. I'm not sure we've drafted together. I will take a look, Colin. I will review the members first, though, if there are any in this lobby. I don't think there are. I don't think Anthony Spurs G is a member. Or maybe he just recently became a member. That's the only one I think might have priority. But yeah, we'll take a look for sure. Yo, Anthony, did you become a member recently? No, you did not. All right, so yeah, we can take a look at CJ Willie, but yo, Best Ball Boy, Best Ball Bobby, my mistake. Sorry, Best Ball Bobby. Which team do you have? I'm happy to take a look. I don't think you've mentioned it since this message. But all right, let's take a look at CJ Willie, and then we mentioned Jesus in our second draft together. I'll take a look at Jesus, his team as well. But Best Ball Bobby is at the 11. That's Jordan Madden. My bad, bro. We were right next to each other. So Jordan has priority. Let's take a look. 4 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 7 receivers, and 3 tight ends. So the same build as mine. Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, and Mendoza. Pretty legit. I almost took Mendoza, so that may have come in clutch for you, but pretty solid. And then Tua also really helps you because I think early season you get Tua, you can wait out the Mendoza starting period, and then once Tua possibly gets benched or concussed, you got Mendoza to filter in Las Vegas. So like the quarterback room, love the value on Rodgers. To wait until Jordan Love and have it still pay off was pretty good. I'm glad you took Jordan Love because I would have taken him at 36 if you did not. We have Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker, Blake Corum. So kind of a steep fall off. But Jordan Mason, Isaiah Pacheco, and Jaden Blue. So maybe not the most inspiring depth, but there are some big swings for the fence. The Cowboys handcuff is valuable. The Lions handcuff, while maybe a little overpriced, is also very valuable. Good luck on Mason taking over and actually delivering. But then Blake Corum could also be one of the most overpriced handcuffs possible. In a great offense, though, the Rams' backup running back is also highly coveted. So a lot hinges on Taylor and Ken Walker, but that's a fine bet. And you only have to start 2 every week minimum. You have the time to wait it out with these 4. So I hope you get more contributions out of the running back depth than I expect. But honestly, these 4 concern me a little bit if you suffer an injury to one of these 2. But only an injury. These 2 will absolutely hit if they're healthy. We got Puka on this team, Terry on this team, Ricky Pearsall, Deebo Samuel at 179, Malik Washington, Torrey Horton, and Elijah Surratt. So it does kind of fall off, but the Puka Terry anchor in this format, that's kind of all you need. You got the best value, I think, on the board at tight end. This Tucker Kraft pick is excellent. And he's stacked with Jordan Love. Okay, yeah, this team definitely gets a major upgrade for that. That's pretty sweet. Gadsden, you took at ADP. You sniped me, but honestly, I didn't really want him again. I have a lot of Gadsden. And then AJ Barner, I think an excellent pick. 6 picks passed. He has a lot of touchdown production. So love the tight end room. The Kraft pick is fucking elite. We were eyeing that earlier. Honestly, I kind of wish I took Kraft. I kind of wish I sniped you on Kraft. I took Brooks instead. Brooks and Rashad White. I might have really liked my team even more with Kraft there. Good click. So yeah, the Love stack that you kind of just fell into, Pretty phenomenal. Receiver, though, this feels not that exciting. Not very exciting. So hopefully these guys can stay healthy. I think you'll be okay, though. Running back, like I said, a little shaky depth, but quarterback, very balanced, relatively inexpensive, kind of the mid-round clicks, and yeah, with the craft stack, it feels pretty good. Good team. I'd give it a B+. I feel like there's some things that I think are missing. I don't think I love the running back room enough to give it an A, but I think there's also elements that make it very, very exciting. Craft, most notably. Good luck, Jordan. Good luck. Thank you for being a member of the Blunt Rotation. I will pack a bowl for you. All right, but we got CJ Millie in here as well, requesting a team review. I think it's the first time we drafted with him. And then we'll take a look at Jesus. I think I might call it done, though, after that. We did not hit the like goal, so it's also after midnight. I think I might bounce after just 2 drafts. But, all right, CJ has Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Fields. Checks out. If Mahomes does not deliver, you will need Fields, but you definitely need the Chiefs quarterback every week, given Burrow has some injury risk. But Jeremiah Love, DeAndre Swift, Chuba Hubbard, JCM, and Tank Bigsby. I typically don't love Jeremiah Love builds, but this one isn't the worst I've seen. But ultimately, Chuba and JCM are just too bad to ignore. I love the Swift click. I love the Bigsby click. But these two are just so gross. And then this one is so hard to trust. I can't say I love the running back room. This running back room is actually kind of gross. Jefferson, Pickens, that's elite. Egbuka, Tyson, very good. Diggs, Tesla, Dell, and Yoshivas. None of them are stacked. That is the only criticism. But Kelsey is stacked. Andrews is on this team. Hunter Henry is there too. And then Gesicki is also pulling up the rear. Yeah, there's at least some stacks here, but running back, these 2 clicks, I just cannot forgive. Like, if you watch this channel, I just can't forgive this. So if this was like Bijan, I could get past it, but it's Jeremiah Love. It's just a little too disgusting. Receiver, though, is fucking fire. It's just not stacked up. There is the Kelsey bet. That's all that matters, ultimately. And then running back, just good luck. But otherwise, it checks out. Running back is not that exciting, though. Good luck. But Anthony, most receivers I ever took, 11. You took 11? Holy shit. I might have to look at that. But Chewy, Mr. Jesus, gets a review. BMZ24 with a 5.573. Rocking Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, and Carson Beck. That's a lot. A lot of pass attempts. Should check out. But is it coming at the expense of another position? Let's find out. Running back with 5 of them: Javonte Williams, Bucky Irving, Jalen Warren, RJ Harvey, and Marshawn Lloyd. The Lloyd pick could be worthless, but worth making. These 4, though, especially if you're right on Bucky, could be okay, but Javonte's really holding it down. Warren's fine, but kind of mid, and then Harvey just doesn't feel as valuable as last year, but some high upside has shown to hit 20 plus at times. Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle is fantastic. Then kind of a steep fall off to Concepcion. Jeremy Bernard, Cooper Kupp is pretty gross. Ted Hurst and Brazel, not the best, but ultimately you only have to start 2 any week. That is the minimum. So if you have Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, you're in good shape. Anything with Jamar Chase you can get away with. So that's fine. You took Fannin at 116, Jake Ferguson, TJ Hawkinson. Pretty okay with that. Solid volume all around. Yeah, tight end is not the problem. Receiver is kind of scary, but very top heavy. So that's fine. Quarterback, though, just so many names. You can't hate on it too much. And then running back is good enough. Yeah, pretty solid team. I really hope that you get away with just Jamar Chase and Waddle, because it could be really worthless down the stretch. You'll have some spike weeks for sure, but how often will you get like a third receiver that hits 10 plus? That I'm not so sure. The bye weeks could be an issue. For week 6 and week 10, I'm not quite sure what you're getting, especially week 10 when Ted Hurst is also on bye. Good luck, Jesus BMZ. Honestly, the team checks out. Quarterback feels pretty legit. Enough names not to be worried. But you know what? Let's take a look at Spurs before we go. But this is the last team review. Before we move on, we have Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence. Only 2. Damn, that's some confidence. I think in Superflex, you should always take a third. Good luck there. Derrick Henry, Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Justice Hill. So the Ravens handcuff, that's something. The Chase Brown bring back. Jacobs better fucking hit. But Aaron Jones at 111 is a fine click. He's fine. Not amazing, but fine. Got a lot of purple on this team, so purple rain appears to be the strategy. But you don't need 11 receivers. I can already tell. You have Devontae Smith, J-Mo, Christian Watson, DK Metcalf, Jacoby Myers, Wanda Robinson, Omar Cooper, Jalen Naylor, Branch, Ridley, and Kirk. You just don't need 11. Like, legitimately, your top 6, you can stop with this. Like, legitimately, these 5 clicks might be completely unnecessary. Yeah, give me a better tight end. I know you passed on Kraft at one point, so give me Tucker Kraft on this team. Give me another quarterback. I'll take another running back. I think you can get rid of at least 3 receivers. And you only have 2 tight ends as well. Strange and Freiermuth. Yeah. Let's swap out. Metcalf should have been Kraft all day. All day. Kraft at 106. I'm not going to give you much else than that. That's the one pick I think you absolutely should have made. And then, similar to me, I think you can afford to pass on Ridley and Christian Kirk and just take some random swings on quarterback like I did. Like, true elite upside at quarterback helps you more than I think receiver 10 and 11. So, good luck, Anthony. Good luck to you. Slayton says, only need 2 more for another Superflex if anyone wants to jump in. Head over there if you're interested, but that's going to be it for me. I mentioned I would pack the bowl one last time, though, for our boy, Best Ball Bobby. I'm going to pack that. I will see y'all tomorrow, though. And I told myself this is finally the week. Once July 4th has passed, I have no more excuses. I will start to edit videos moving forward. So look out for some video drops in the near future. We're going to do some rankings videos and win-loss picks as always. Excited for that. Excited for the season. We are very close now that it's past July 4th. I'm sure the excitement is really going to sink in pretty quickly. But yeah, can't wait for the season. Fantasy football's already been popping this summer, and you know it's going to be wheels up once we hit September. So appreciate everyone for popping in tonight and drafting with me, or just watching in the audience. Chat and hit that like button and subscribing. We will see you tomorrow with some more content. But until then, smoke it if you got it. I'll see you one last time on the other side. I don't know, maybe got too much Kraft. That's fair. But it was a really, really good value there. I think I would have taken it. You're welcome, Slayton. Peace out, everyone.